Okay, so apparently Donnie McClurkin made a video where he was stating how he's dated women and men in the past and how he feels like he's going to be alone forever. Now, I'm going to say this. Under no stretch of the imagination do I feel bad for him, okay? Because I'm not sure how old Donnie McClurkin is, but if I'm not mistaken, Donnie McClurkin is in his 60s. Now, I love his music. I like Donnie McClurkin music. My favorite song by him is That's What I Believe. I don't know if maybe I fell in love with that song because I never forget on my way to my high school graduation, one of my favorite teachers, that's what she was playing in her car, and I think I was more excited to graduate high school compared to college because, I had a real hard time in high school, not even as far as the work, but the kids were horrible. I'm just saying, the kids were horrible. So I had a really hard time in high school. I used to fight a lot. So I fell in love with that song, and, especially when he said, Lord, you promise, if I keep my mind on you, you will keep me in perfect peace. And, I just love that song, and I love his music. And I hate this for him that he's living in a closet. To me, you could say that you've dated men and women all day long. At the end of the day, I feel like it's no such thing as a bisexual man. Me as a woman, I don't know if he's being honest with the chicks that he's, been with or not. But I would not want him, especially the way he's navigating through life. You in the bed with a woman, then you in the bed with a man, then you in the bed with a woman, then you in the bed with a man. To me, it gets confused. I have numerous gay friends, in particular guys, and they always say, if a man ever experiences, an orgasm from behind, where his G-spot is, he's gone. Because once a man experiences that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So I would not want him. Whether you are the top or the bottom, to me, like I told y'all before, I think either way is gay. Whether you doing the digging or whether they doing the digging on you. To me, it's gay. Either way, because either you want to be digged in or you like to dig in other men. To me, it's still gay. Either way. Now, if I was Donnie's... Hold on. I got to throw something out the window. Make sure ain't no cars coming. It's a pizza box. But anyway. If I was Donnie's good Judy... I would tell him, I would say, friend, if you like digging balls, you like digging balls. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I feel like a lot of the times people get involved in these churches and they sing their heart out in these choirs and praise dancing and singing to the glory of God, and they forget that, you have a life. Don't be out here denying yourself of what you want and your desires, to appease man. And when I say man, I mean people in general, because at the end of the day, I have a cousin, for example. She gets up there, she sings her heart out into the choir. She used to try to shade me, talking about, I'm going to pray for you because I used to fight a lot growing up. And one day I just burst out in the church and said, look, I ain't trying to hear that. You get up in there, in that choir stand, you sing your heart out, and then you go lay up with, I'm going to say this name, with a married man at that. Leave me alone. Like you so much better than me. And everybody was like, whoo! And, because I'm tired of that. I get tired of church people. I was brought up in the church. I was always me. I wasn't one of those people that act like, I was better than the next, I get tired of that. And see, Donnie, if you in your 60s, I believe you in your 60s. I don't know for a fact what age in particular, but I believe you somewhere in between that age group. Quiet as it's kept, the average lifespan of a person is 70-something. That means, if you really want to be technical, you are in the last quarter of your life. This is the winter phase of your life. This is the time when if you haven't done anything at this point in your life, it's on you. Okay, it's on you. Anything you want to experiment, any sexual fantasies you want to go for, any places you want to travel to. That's why they call it retirement. People go out to different countries, different areas. This is the time, if you had a wife and kids, this is the time when you come stop by, see the kids, but I don't think you have a wife and kids, but even, if you want to go get you a little boo thing and y'all travel out and ride out, cruises, seeing the world, that's what you do. That's what you do. If you want to have a threesome, have a threesome. You want to go do an orgy, go do an orgy. If you want to, as long as you're being safe. Don't deny yourself for that. Tell me, I'm just going to be alone forever. Well, if you just going to be alone forever, that's your fault. That ain't nobody's fault but your own. Because a lot of those people you trying to impress, they living their life. They getting their rocks off. Best believe it. Whether you know about it or not. Live your life. Now, I'm not saying you got to grab the mic and say, check 212, this Donnie McClurkin, and I like to jump up and down on men. I'm not saying you got to do all that. It's nobody's business but your own. Look, I'm just saying, no shade. True tea, no shade. Look at Queen Latifah. They've been saying the same thing for years. She don't have to grab the mic, but obviously, we not crazy. It is what it is. Live your life. Don't deny yourself for that. You ain't got to tell your business. Just live your life. Don't deny. Don't sit in that house and be looking at the four walls, all depressed, getting on social media. I'm just going to be alone forever. No. If I was your good Judy, I would tell you, Donnie, go get you a man. Come on now. Because I'm going to tell you something. If you was really into women like that for real, you would, you wouldn't have said nothing about, I'm just going to be alone forever. Because you said yourself, you had experienced men and women. You know what you sound like? You sound like a young little boy that's still figuring out his sexuality. You know what I'm saying? And, he just out there in the wind. He just out there in the wind. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's okay. It's okay. These same people you're trying to impress, you'd be surprised who in that church shacking up. Who in that church scamming people. Who in that church sleeping with people's husbands. Hell, at my old church that I grew up in, it was a lady that her husband was on the deacon board sleeping with, she supposed to be a deaconess. Her husband sleeping with the lady on the choir stand. He a deacon, she in the choir stand, one of the loudest people in the church. And you know what I'm saying? And God rest my godmother's soul, if she hadn't told me, I would have never known. I would have never known. And that lady did not divorce him because they said that he got a real good pension. So I guess, some women feel like they can't do no better, especially when they get to a certain age. So it is what it is. I just told you about my cousin. One of the loudest ones. Always got a solo. And God, I thank you. Always singing to the top of her lungs. Frowning her nose up at other people. She can't talk about nobody. Hell, I got an aunt that I had to lay out a couple of years ago. Gonna tell me some mess putting me down, talking about you the only one in the family that used to raise hell back when I went to school. I said, look, I don't want to hear no mess about I'm the only one in the family that raised hell back when I was growing up. Okay, got one uncle that murked a couple people, got another uncle being in and out of the penitentiary. I got cousins that been having big drug rings, scratching from New York damn near all the way to Seattle. I don't want to hear that shit. Okay, from coast to coast, gonna tell me something. I don't want to hear that. Y'all ain't no better than me. Another cousin that got knocked up when she was 14. Can't nobody talk about nobody. And like I told her, you definitely can't talk about nobody because your husband was on crack. You had 2 kids by another man. He was so strung out. You know, she supposed to be some type of apostle, right? You know, he done stole all the babies' Christmas. My other cousin told me about that. She sell drugs. Was getting high off her own supply. I ain't trying to hear that shit. You gonna throw in my face, I used to fight a lot. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. I ain't trying to hear it. Okay? Because I'm like this. I don't have kids right now, but one day I will. But if you had stole from my kids, I would have been done with your ass. You divorced them and you took them back and still married. She's still married to this man to this day. Miss Apostle. Nobody trying to hear that shit. But it's just point being, these people, they, don't sit here and try to deny yourself of stuff, trying to impress people that ain't got their shit together, they damn stuff. You want to be with a man, go be with a man. It's all right. You 60 something. It is what it is. Shit.